Hey, vegan food explorers. Okay, so we love protein in our house, in our vegan house, and just because we're vegan doesn't mean we don't get our protein in. So we got a quick review on what actually is Alpro plant protein. Let's get into the video.
Please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Okay, so I picked this up from Sainsbury's and, whoa, don't drop it, costs £1.70 for the pack, which, I don't know, I'm split. A lot of people, well, no, I'm not split actually, but a lot of people are split. Some people say that's expensive, whereas you can get your bog standard kind of for £1.55 or actually, to be honest, cheaper. When it's on offer, you can get this for not quite under £1, but £1.20, maybe even £1 sometimes in some places. But I don't think that's that expensive. And at the end of the day, so you have three macronutrients. You have carbohydrates, fat, and protein. And protein is the most expensive, whatever it is. And so it is going to cost more. For example, you can buy a bottle of cheap vegetable oil for absolutely nothing, and the calories equivalent of that, you'll get loads of calories for very, very cheap. The same with rice. You can buy a massive bag of rice and the amount of calories you'll get very, very cheap. But protein, there's no way you're going to get cheap protein. So it is always going to cost more, and that's just the way it is. So I don't think that's ridiculous. I also think it's quite a relatively, maybe not a niche product, but it's not going to be drunk as much volume as just your bog standard soy milk. So there is a bit of a premium on that. And they know that people who are interested in this are going to pay a little bit more for that protein. But is it worth it? So the big stat on here, which they've kind of copied a lot of non-vegan foods where they have that massive, big amount of protein on here. So it says 50 grams of protein. So that's not per serving, that's per pack. So then it says 10 grams per 200 mil. So you get 50 grams because it's a litre. So is that a lot of protein? Yeah, that's pretty decent. Let's have a look at the stats. So per 100 millilitres, you get that 5 grams of protein. So for only 200 millilitres of this drink, you're getting 10 grams of protein. And so we've done videos before where we've done flapjacks, and for example, that's like 230 calories for 9 grams of protein. Well, this is 140 calories for 10 grams of protein. And you can obviously tell that is a world of difference. So this definitely, in my world, counts as a high protein food or drink. So it's chocolate flavour. So let's actually have a look at that, the difference of the spec, and then we'll open it up and have a drink. So basically, you're looking at, so you've got the protein on your left here and your non-protein on your right. So soy milk does have some protein in, and I would say I recommend people to drink the soy milk for protein because it has the equivalent amount of protein that cow's milk does. When you compare oat milk and other things like that, they have significantly less protein. So this is already a relatively mid to high protein drink. So let's go through. So you've got calories. Okay, so per 100 ml, you've got 69 calories and 33. So already it's double the calories. Then fat, okay, so 2.8 grams of fat to 1.8. Okay, that is a big difference. It's double the saturates, but they're already incredibly small. I would say that's very low fat for both. Carbohydrates, this is where it gets interesting here. So you've got 5.3 grams of carbohydrate and 5 grams of sugar. And then on this, you have 0 grams of sugar. And that's because, let's just forget, this is no sugars. So it's not sweetened whatsoever. So there's no sugars in there whatsoever. Whereas when we go through the ingredients for this, you'll see there is a sugar. And that's because having such a high protein food or drink begins to taste a bit disgusting. And they have to put the sugar in for it to taste nice. So that's not ludicrous amounts of sugar. And I believe that it is natural sugar. So it is a lot better than having your artificial sweeteners, which do horrendous things for your gut. So then fibre, it's got tons of fibre in. It's got almost more than double the amount of fibre. I mean, that's not loads to be honest, but it is relative to the regular. Then protein, okay, so it's 3.3 grams to 5. So what you're seeing here is it's not a drastic increase. And I mean, to be honest, that shouldn't be a surprise because they're both still soy milk. They're just different amounts of, I believe, the soya beans. So this has a higher amount of them per concentrate. And that's why. So it's not like there's some magic ingredient, but that is, it's not quite double, but it is significantly more. And this is for only 100 mil. I mean, once you start doubling that, then you get, for 200 mil, you get 10 grams of protein here and you only get 6.6 grams. So that is a big, big difference. And I would say makes it worth the price here. So then you've got your vitamins. Yeah, I mean, are they basically the same? Yeah, they're exactly the same. So you're also getting your minerals of calcium in there as well, which is fantastic. So let's have a look at the actual ingredients. I looked at this earlier and I'm pretty sure it's basically the same. You've got the soya base. Yeah, so it's those beans. So you have, yeah. Sorry, my front door just went, so I'm back. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is the ingredients are not that different, to be honest. And the only difference I can see, I mean the big difference, is having the increased amount of whole soya beans. And you've got 12% in the protein one and then only 8.7% in the non-protein one. So that is the big difference there, and that's why it has, I would assume, has more protein. And then the other key thing here, I mean, of course you've got the flavour, because this is flavoured, so it tastes like chocolate, so of course you've got the cocoa in, but the big difference is the sugar. So there's sugar there, whereas there isn't any sugar in the regular. Are there any other big changes? Acidity regulators? No, that's kind of it. Okay, right, enough talking. We now know that this does have significantly higher amount of calcium. It does have that sugar, so if sugar is something you're watching, then be careful. But the biggest fear you want to fear of sugar is the amount of calories that increases. It's not actually the sugar itself. That's why fizzy drinks are really bad, not because of the sugar itself, but because of the amount of calories that you're getting in with absolutely nothing else that's any good. So that's exactly why this, in my opinion, the sugar's fine, because you're getting fibre and you're actually getting something for the increased calories. So let's pour it out. Okay, I'm going to give it a shake because I think it's quite thick. So I've actually bought quite a few of these. Right, I've got a pint glass here, so forgive me, but it's my only glassware that I've got at the moment, so we can actually see. So let's have a pour. So you can hear it already. It's thick. It's like a chocolate milkshake. That froth is from where I frothed it. Okay, so that's half a pint roughly. So what's that? Pint is like 600, so that's about 300 mils. So this alone is about 15 grams of protein. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. 15 grams of protein, and how many calories? So that would be 140, 200. So this is 210 calories, 15 grams of protein. That's essentially a protein shake. I would normally recommend is have about 20 grams of protein. So if I wanted that, I'd add another 100 mils. So take us up to, what's that, 400 mils. So 400 mil would take us to about here. And that would be 20 grams of protein, which that is really, really decent. Okay, so you can see that froth, that's from where I shook it. But it does look like a proper milkshake there. It is thick. Look at that. It sticks to the side here. But you want that, don't you? Really nice chocolatey. Okay, let's have a try.
Cheers. When you're drinking it, you can smell the chocolate. It's really, really nice. It smells like proper milk, like milk chocolate, really rich. If I had a whey protein shake, which is your traditional non-vegan protein shake, and it tastes like that, I would say, wow, that's really good. That's amazing. I could easily drink that. I think you can tell that it has sugar because it just tastes so nice. Let me have another bit. Yeah, it goes down so easily. It's really thick. I could easily drink a lot of that, whereas some milk, so dairy milk, protein based, they get a bit cloggy and you're just like, oh God, I can't drink any more of that. But I could drink a whole pint of that easily. And what would a pint be? 600 mil roughly. That's a lot of protein. That is a lot of protein. Yeah, I mean, that would be tons of protein. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
So where does this leave our soya here? Personally, what I do is I drink this for my breakfast because it's cheaper and I get through quite a lot of it for my breakfast cereal every day. And it still does give you a really good start today with relatively amounts of protein and all your different vitamins that includes it. But then what I do is I use this. So I am actually training quite heavy at the moment. We're doing workouts from home, and I'm also recovering from a knee injury. So I'm trying to get my protein very, very high. So I am actually drinking this every single day, which, yes, it is expensive, £1.70 per bottle. But even if I were to drink half of this per day, that would be, what's that, 85p, which is basically a serving of that is cheaper than a plant. That is cheaper per serving than many, many vegan proteins. And it also doesn't have any of the nasty sucralose things in there, which is really, really good. It's not as cheap as some of the really cheap whey protein powders, but you've got to remember whey protein, which is a non-vegan, is actually a waste product of the dairy industry, so and that's why they sell it. But it is, and they can come in varying different levels of quality, so you will find this actually would be very competitive against a decent, very well-known brand of protein powder, to be honest, and it already comes packaged up, which is crazy. And also I would say that, yeah, I would say it tastes great, and it doesn't have that sucralose in, because you'll see, yes, I could get protein powder for very, very cheap for a non-vegan one, but it would have horrendous artificial sweeteners in there, and that is something you want to definitely avoid. And yeah, this would be the perfect solution for that. So if you're into the gym, or you're just trying to get your protein up, which can be a problem if you're a vegan, if you're not thinking about your diet, then I would definitely 100% recommend picking up Alpro plant protein. Cheers, see you in the next video.